All right, this is part two of why Dragon Ball GT is a good series and doesn't suck. All right, so last time I covered the Baby Saga. So, the Baby Saga is definitely one of the better arcs, not just in Dragon Ball GT, but in all of Dragon Ball, right? We had a really good villain with a really good motivation that did stuff that you wouldn't expect. He started out, Goku, Trunks, Pan. He started out in space, where they met him. And you just thought Baby was just going to be some one off villain, like General Rildo or something. But he comes to Earth and he invades, he infects all the Z Fighters, all the people on Earth. And he takes over. He almost kills Goku. He takes over the world. He creates a new planet. And Goku then comes in, fights him, has to go Super Saiyan 4 in order to beat him. And after a long drawn out battle, Goku beats Baby. And then, Baby's defeated, but he causes the Earth to get destroyed. And then Piccolo has to sacrifice himself in order for the Black Star Dragon Balls to disappear. And then the Earth is brought back. And then everything's back to normal, right? So that's just summarizing what happened in the Baby Saga. Pretty solid arc. Now we go to the Android 17 saga. But before the Android 17 saga, I had to mention briefly that was, that really nice filler episode where they were at when they were at a tournament with Oob and who was it? It was Majub and Hercule and it was the episode where Hercule was about to retire from fighting, and Majub allows Hercule to win his last tournament before he retires, right? That was a cool, fun little slice of life filler episode before they went on with the next arc. Just, cool because, Super has a lot of slice of life episodes, GT has one. That's irrelevant. Anyway, 17 Saga. A lot of people say that the Super Android 17 Saga sucked. And I disagree with that. You know why? Because in the Fusion Reborn movie, all the villains were brought back to life, but the villains were not the main focus of the Fusion Reborn movie. They were the focus. No, the focus in the Fusion Reborn movie was Janemba. But in the Super Android 17 movie, saga, that was the focus, was the villains. The focus was the villains, right? So we actually get an arc where, seeing all our favorite villains from all of Dragon Ball, we get to see them one last time before, Dragon Ball ended during that era. So, me, because back then, it's not like nowadays where, Frieza comes back over and over again like in Dragon Ball Super. Back in the day, Dragon Ball villains, once they were defeated, they didn't come back most of the time. They were just dead. It was rare that a Dragon Ball villain got to come back after they were defeated. So, summing that up, that's the first thing that I like about the Super Android 17 saga, is it's actually focused on the villains. Two, the arc's just really fun. It's just fun fan service. It's nothing, too offensive. Just seeing all your favorite villains again. One thing I hear people criticize the Super Android 17 saga for is the scene where Vegeta, meets Nappa again, right? And Vegeta immediately kills Nappa in like a half second after seeing him, right? Now, people criticize the arc for that, and on one hand, I can kind of see where you're coming from, um, but on the other hand, that's petty as hell. That's petty as hell to say that the arc is trash just because Vegeta didn't get to have like a full conversation with Nappa and get to reflect on Vegeta's character development and how much he's grown as a character. You know, I can see that. Now that they bring that up, I can see that I would actually, that actually would have been pretty cool. But to say that the arc is trash because we didn't get that, it's kind of petty, very petty to me. Moving along. What else happens in that arc? Goku goes to Hell to fight Frieza and Cell. Um, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, back in the days of Dragon Ball GT, when power scaling was still respected, right? We didn't just have Cell and Frieza power up 1,000 levels for no reason. They stayed exactly as strong as they were when they died, because you don't get stronger in hell. That's why it's hell. Anyway, so when Goku fights Frieza and Cell, he just beats him easily, as he should. No complaints. 10 out of 10 fight. Anyway, he defeats Frieza and Cell. What's another complaint people had during that fight? The animation. Said that the animation was bad during that fight. The Frieza and Cell looked weird, right? If I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, then it's just petty. It's just pure pettiness, man. Um, yeah, pretty much. Non-issue. Moving along. Now, after the Super 17 fight, the Cell versus Frieza fight, right? Or Goku, whatever. After Goku defeats Frieza and Cell, he needs to get out of Hell. But he can't get out. Because Hell is, locked away forever or something, right? And Piccolo has to come to save Goku. And so Piccolo sacrifices his afterlife, to stay in Hell so that Goku could be freed from Hell. Which, that's why Piccolo's a great character. And, because he'll do noble stuff like that. At least in Dragon Ball GT, that's what makes him a good character. Moving along. Goku escapes from Hell, and meanwhile, while on Earth, right, we got Super 17, the main villain of the arc. People have an issue with Super Android 17 fusing with another Android 17. So there was the Android 17 that was already alive on Earth, and then there was the Android 17 that was built in Hell, right? That Dr. Mew and Dr. Gero created in Hell. And they fused those two Android 17s to make Super Android 17, right? And Super Android 17, right? He's stronger than all the other fighters, but he's not Super Saiyan 4 level yet. But he has the ability to absorb energy. So that's how he's able to get stronger throughout the course of the fight, is by absorbing, the fighter's energy and stuff like that. And, Vegeta was putting in work during that fight. Even though Android 17 was mollywopping everybody, you know, Vegeta put in a lot of work. Gohan put in a lot of work. Goten and Trunks put in a lot of work as individuals, you know, without having to fuse. Um, yeah, you know. The Z Fighters put in work, and then when Goku comes in to do what he does best, you know, the fight with Super Android 17, I actually was actually pretty cool. I like the part where Goku punches Android 17 across the planet. That was pretty cool. And, you know, um, at the end of the fight, you know, Android 18 gets to help Goku defeat um, Android 17. And, yeah, you know, that shows that, you know, it's not just Goku, you know, doing important stuff. Like, of course, Goku's the main character. He's going to get, you know, majority of the spotlight. But it's not like the other characters are just useless, not doing anything, right? They're helping out. So, that's basically, you know, just me summarizing the complaints people had about the Super 17 saga and telling you why. Um, you know, Dragon Ball GT was actually a pretty good series. That's pretty much it for now because this video is already 11 minutes long. And yeah, in the next one, I'll talk about the Shadow Dragon saga a little bit.